For the month of December, I'm going to post videos each week on deadlifts. It's going to be my version of Deadcember. So it's going to go over what are deadlifts, how to do deadlifts, and different progressions of deadlifts. So stay tuned each week for a new video. For week 1 of our Deadcember videos is going to be what is a deadlift? What is the difference between a deadlift and an RDL or a Romanian deadlift or stiff leg deadlift? And where should I start if I want to learn how to deadlift? So what is a deadlift? If you've never done them before, never heard of them, what is it? So a deadlift is a hip dominant movement when picking up a weight from the ground, therefore it's dead weight that you're picking up. It is used commonly in everyday life. Anytime you pick something up on the ground, it's technically a deadlift. So it is also the number one reason why people hurt their backs, because they do it incorrectly. So learning how to deadlift correctly will help you not hurt your back in everyday life. So the biggest question I get asked many times is, what is the difference between a deadlift and an RDL, or a Romanian deadlift, or a stiff leg deadlift? So for an RDL, it is considered a true hinge. You start with the weight up, and then, so for example, I'm going to show you with dumbbells. So weights are going to start in an upstanding position, lats are tight, and you're going to push your hips back so there's a true hinge, just pushing your hips back and then standing up. So you're not going to the floor with these. Some people have crazy range of motions and they can, but it's just really focusing on the hinge of the movement. A deadlift is from the ground. So the weight starts at the ground, pushing your hips back just like in the RDL, but there's more knee bend, and then you're picking up the weight from the ground, and each rep touching the ground in a deadlift. So that is the two difference between the deadlift and the RDL. So if you want to learn how to deadlift and you've never deadlifted before, you're brand new to working out, where should you start when learning how to deadlift? So the first thing you want to do is learn how to hinge correctly before you pick up the weight from the ground. So I'm going to go over a few exercises that I like to start people with to learn how to hinge first before we start lifting from the ground. So the first thing I do when teaching someone how to deadlift is I teach them how to hinge. So great thing is with a PVC is to do a 3-point hinge because it is not loaded and you're able to see if they can hinge, but it also teaches them how to hinge correctly. So with that, you're going to have a PVC. You can also use a broomstick, but you're going to have one hand above your head, one below your butt. You want your head, back, and tailbone touching the PVC. And you want to think of tucking your tailbone to get that low back as close to the PVC as you can. You're going to have a little bend in the knees, so you just want to unlock the knees. And then you're going to push your hips back as far as you can, keeping everything touching that PVC, and then stand up. So some things you'll see is people will go like this. It's no longer touching their tailbone. So you want to keep everything touching. That's teaching them how to push their hips back in the hinge and then up. And then also keep your toes planted. So push the hips back and then up. So the 3-point hinge is a great way to start to teach someone how to hinge. So before going to the ground, I like to make sure that people can do an RDL first. So usually with my programs, you start with an RDL and then we progress to a deadlift. So with deadlifts or a barbell, we're going to go to the RDL to make sure that we can hinge loaded with weight. So you're going to keep your lats down, so your shoulders are pulled down to your butt, tailbone's tucked, unlock the knees, and you're going to push the hips back as far as you can, probably going about below your knee or to mid-shin, and then standing up. And you want to keep your neck in line with your spine. So push the hips back. We should feel our hamstrings, our glutes, not our lower back. But another exercise to help teach someone how to hinge is a band pull through. You can also use a cable, but you're going to have the band set low on the rack. And you're going to stand with the band between your legs. You're going to hold on to the end of the band. You're going to walk out so that there's tension on the band. This will help push your hips back because the band will be pulling you towards the rack. You're going to keep those lats tight, and you're going to Let the band pull your hips back towards the rack and then stand up. So let the band pull you back and then up. Again, you want to keep those lats engaged because then if you don't, you're just going to round the back and you'll feel that lower back. So lats are engaged. Push those hips back. Let that band pull you back and then standing up. Some exercises to do if you're really not understanding how to push your hips back. You feel like your body just doesn't move that way and you just are kind of bending over instead of moving your hips. So here are some little cues that you can do to help push your hips back. So one that helps is you actually stand in the band, place the band at your hip crease, and you're going to walk out so there's tension. And then you're going to let the band pull your hips back and then stand up. So let that band pull you back and then stand up.